How? What? Why? I have so many questions! What's up, guys? I go Pencil here, and here we're going to do a breakdown and review for chapter 161 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, which is known as A Strange Reunion. And, yeah, this is one of the most apt chapter titles Malcolm has ever had, because there was a reunion, and it's strange. And while I do have a very, very, very big answer to a very, very, very hefty question, I now have way more questions than I had before. Some of them good, some of them not so good, some of them falling somewhere in between. So I'm very excited. Let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Kion, yeah, bro. Because this cover page, it does a couple things. Once again, it reaffirms, I think, something that wasn't in the base release, the weekly release, but was re-added in the volume. Tristan's more pained reaction to Percy's end. But notably, it's not necessarily a pained reaction to Percy himself leaving, it's the betrayal of Meliodas' trust that was put in Percy. And that's what Tristan was especially mad about in the volume extra, not volume extra, but the redraws that were done for the volume, and I really like that. Unfortunately, because it's Tristan, I hate that he looks too babyfied. Like the tear, like I can see how he's really got the grip on Dragon Handle, but like, I don't know, bro. He looks so soft about it. Like, you got one tear. Like, once again, I'm sorry. He looks a little bit too much like his mom, which is crazy because he's literally just his dad. And I know that's not the same face syndrome kicking in, but still, it doesn't matter. He looks so much like his mama that I can't take him seriously, bro. Like, even if I were to edit out the Elizabeth hair extension and just keep the Meliodas base cut, which is literally all he has, you can even look at it. If you just look at Tristan head on, like, at least I can picture it. Like, without this there, it's literally just Mel with longer hair. But still, I don't know, he looks so baby here. But look who's here. Percy's here. We'll see him this chapter. Tristan's here. We'll see him this chapter. Question mark. Isolde's here. We'll see her this chapter. Question mark, question mark. But you know who isn't here? Who doesn't get the full grace of being on the page? Who had more of 2 buildings, or 2, what were hair follicles, on the Great Divine Beast showing, instead of their entire face? Kion. He gets mentioned, but he does not show up. So, I wonder where Broski's at. I hope he did not get recaptured by Vivian. Please, anything but that. But with it being the case, let's hop right into chapter 161, A Strange Reunion. So, we open up, and we do get to see that there's this interesting hole in the ground. Very particularly, a hole crafted, seemingly enough, by blade or by magic application. At least the base hole itself, because its edges are so smooth. And Tristan and Isolde, or Tantris and this Isolde, walk in. They walk down, and we see that Isolde plants the flower she got last chapter, and Tristan recognizes it. A sepia rose? That only grows on cliffs. I know that. How did you get it? And Isolde doesn't answer, at least not immediately, as Tristan uses his healing magic on her. So, very notably, Tristan is still Tristan, or Tantris is still Tristan, in the sense that he does have access to at least one half of his power set. Now, I'll readily admit, when I heard Cauldron of Annwfyn Battle Tournament, I legit thought they were fighting 24/7, and I thought we were going to come in and see a Tristan that was, like, altered to be like the commandment, aka consistently in demon mark, consistently going all out, consistently like going crazy. But this is an interesting angle too. Seeing a Tristan who is essentially babying Isolde, who isn't really Isolde. Now, admittedly, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I know basically nothing about Arthurian mythology. I got nothing. But, thanks to a commenter on the previous video, I know a little bit more. Apparently there are multiple Isoldes. Like, multiple individual women named Isolde. So I found it strange last chapter that this Isolde is very tiny, very small, very weak. Like, legitimately, when the Isolde that we know is like 6 feet tall, rippling muscle, and can make things explode. So I was like, huh. Well, this seems like a more ideal Isolde. But hypothetically, since I didn't believe Tantris was Tristan, I was like, oh, maybe Tantris is an imagination of Isolde, who, thanks to the influence of chaos, ended up in a weaker, smaller form, because that's how she dreamed she wanted to be perceived, so Tristan would love her. not knowing that Tristan already cared for her and likely loved her already, because Tristan, just like his daddy, loves his woman taller than him. But with it being the case, I'm not so sure now, because we know this is Tristan, and I'm trying to think. We've seen Chaos do bodily alteration. Like, the fake Merlin was a fairy. But, once again, that was so close to the source of Chaos that it makes me wonder, could this really be our Isolde, or is it multi-Isolde, just like in our third mythology? Because the thing about this Isolde is that she's fundamentally and biologically different than the other Isolde, and as we'll find out, she has a sickness, which our Isolde, as far as we know, didn't have. And obviously it was way taller, rippling muscle, could make things explode. So I wonder if this even is the real Isolde. Because one thing that we do this chapter, and I'll point it out once again once we get to it, our casting crew never sees this Isolde, and they're going, seemingly enough, based on the end of the chapter, immediately to the Gladiator Festival. So, what? That's the thing, I don't know. If this is the real Isolde, then okay, I hope she can revert from her chaos juice. But if this isn't the real Isolde, where's the real one? Or at least the one we know. Because once again, this could just be another girl named Isolde. Who knows? Once again, Arthurian mythology does have two. Or, I think it's two? I forget. I should have reread that comic. But with it being the case, I don't know. It's intriguing. But Tristan selling his goddess powers is interesting. Because, well, let me be honest. Tristan being alive is interesting. But we'll get into that in a second. Because we see that this Isolde apologizes. I'm sorry, Tantris. But I just wanted to do something for you. And we see Tristan, he frowns a little bit at first because he didn't like the fact that she got hurt. Oh yeah, so see, he does. He is full on. He is full Triskelion in his eyes. So this is full goddess Tristan, or not full goddess Tristan, but this is Tristan fully in the breadth of his goddess powers. And we see he says, "Are you afraid of me entering the Gladiator Festival? I'll be fine, Isolde, I promise. I'll win and I'll get you out of Annwfyn. The winner earns any reward they want," they said. "I could get you medicine for your illness." And then things start booming, things start rumbling. But, first and foremost, we're going to find out this is the real Tristan. Arthur, you mean to tell me you have the son, and by son I mean singular son, singular child, of your current greatest enemy in Meliodas? I know some of the Bond meat munchers are going to be like, how dare you say Meliodas is stronger than Bond? And to that I say, cope. But with that being the case, you're going to have the mightiest. Not the mightiest. You're going to have a future potential chaos candidate. As in, he's made of light, he's made of darkness, he's a hybrid between a demon and a goddess, and a human. He's the triple combo. You're going to let him live under your nose for presumably at least a few days? It's been a while. I forget what the time specific. I forget the time period they specifically say that Tristan and his platoon lost contact, but it's been a while. They lost contact with Gawain for a while, too. So, however long it's been, you've had Tristan in your clutches, and you haven't taken his life? Why? And here's the thing. Maybe I could understand it if... Even that, why, it's always a matter of insurance, right? Sure. Maybe the news of Percy being alive hasn't reached her. Even though we see Beltrep, and this definitely takes place after the Chaos meeting, where both Pell and Ironside awaken a few chapters back. So, clearly, they should know that Percy's alive again. And clearly time has passed, so why hasn't, Beltrep just interested? Let me give you... why is he still alive? Because here's the thing, right? It's going to be mentioned later that hypothetically they could turn some of the people, some of the strongest fighters or the winners of the Gladiator Festival into Chaos Knights. But why? Why would you want that liability? I'm thinking, because that's all Tristan is, unfortunately. At this point, he's just a liability. Even if you brainwash him, make him call himself Tantris and give him a weak Isolde to care about, all out of sight, he's a liability, so why not execute him? And number two, I'll get to in a second. But with that being the case, we see that Tristan realizes, oh, that's the signal. It's about to begin. I need to get going. Sorry, Isolde. If it's with you, anywhere is fine. And that's sweet. That's adorable. I don't think you're the real Isolde, or at least not the Isolde I know. So I'm not going to co-sign on that just yet. I'm gonna need some soul proof. I'm gonna need you to run into the cast and crew. I'm gonna need you to do something else, but I can't take that face value. But with it being the case, we see that Isolde starts like she doesn't hurl Android 18 up on some perfect cell type beat, but she does start to cough a bit. And we see Tristan's like, oh, nani daisuke, or Tantris is like, oh, nani daisuke. It says, oh, still not feeling well? I'm fine. Here, just lie down for me. And he lays her down, which does confirm something else. Even though Tristan has access to his goddess powers, he still hasn't learned from Cursed by Light. He is still unable to heal illnesses. We know Elizabeth, the greatest healer in, I don't want to say the verse, but probably the verse. Once again, the Supreme Deity hasn't really shown any feats of healing. But like, Elizabeth, greatest healer in the verse is like, yeah. No, not the, but with the greatest healer in the verse, Elizabeth is like, she can heal anything. She can heal mental ailments, physical ailments, spiritual ailments, sicknesses, all that. But Tristan seems to be stuck exclusively on physical, even still. Now, is this a mark of... See, the thing is I'm worried about, and the thing I'm scared of, is this a mark that he's had no progression over the past 2 years? I hope not. I hope he has gotten stronger in this Tantris persona, and ultimately when we see Demon Mark, or we see on the hybrid Nephilim state, or we see anything of that sort, or even base Tristan for real, he actually is decently stronger. But at the same time, it bears ill omens if he's not able to use his goddess abilities, which presumably he's been using the most, to their full capability. At all. Not even yet. Like that, like this, like it's a little bit scary. But with that being the case, we see that Tristan says, I'll be back soon. With some good news too, I hope. And we see that Isolde just goes, it's coming out! I was in that werewolf meme where like there's like the werewolf transforming and like they rip open their shirt. I don't know what it is about that one, but that one makes me laugh. I have the strangest sense of humor. If you've been on the channel for a while, you can likely tell that. But I have a real weird sense of humor. Some things work for me that don't work for others, and some things work for others that don't work for me. But with it being the case, he leaves Tristan or Tantris leaves Isolde to just and once again, this comes to the question. We have three options. If this is the real Isolde, chaos altered, what is this a side effect of? Is it a side effect of her kills, or is it literally chaos forcing a sickness on her to keep Tristan in line? 2, is this not Isolde? And ultimately, this is just another poor woman with a sickness who happens to have the name Isolde. Or number 3, is this all fake? Is there no real Isolde there? And it's just like with Pelgard's child and Pelgard's wife, where ultimately, Pelgard's been moved on. And he does not like the way Arthur runs things. Just like most characters, including Kaylee, I do not like how Arthur runs things. I miss the old Arthur. But with that being the case, the main reason that Pelgard sticks around with Arthur is because his wife Dolores, I do believe. No, not Dolores. That's Diane's friend's name. I forget the name of Pelgard's wife. But, nah. Is it important enough to look up? We're going to look it up. We're going to... Rose? What is it? I completely holistically blank out. Hold on, let me see. Pelgard. What's your wife's name? I need to find the truth. Oh, my Juicy Jack King. I love Pelgard. He's so glorious. He's so amazing. He's so thick and jacked. He's only 6 foot. He's 264 pounds. And I mean, it's straight muscle. Fiona. That's it. Fiona. Low key, he is kind of built like Shrek. If Shrek went to the gym. But with it being the case, all that to say, we know that Richard is a manifestation for Fiona. So very particularly, we know Pelgard feels emotionally conflicted about allowing his life or allowing his wife to live a lie. So if this is the real Isolde, then maybe she's feeling conflicted over having Tristan live this lie for her. And that's why she's doing this and convulsing. Even though Chaos is like, don't worry, it's a good idea. You have your beloved boy toy. And we'll make sure he never wins. So we stuck here fighting for you and protecting you forever. Because now you're weak. And didn't you want to be weak? So Tristan would love you? Just like he loves you now? Even though that's not true. Like, that's the thing. And with the name switch, it makes me hard to believe it's the real Isolde. Because why would she order a name switch? I guess that's the thing. We don't have enough case studies. So Tristan or Tantris is technically our first case study outside of Fiona and Pelgard for how someone would deal with certain issues. But even still, Fiona and Pelgard are fundamentally different because that's husband and wife and child versus 2 teenagers. But with that being the case, we see Tristan walks out only to get immediately bombarded by the gigantic skyship. And it soars through the air as Tristan goes, it's a flying ship. And we see it's not just Tristan who crawls out of a hole and ends up going to look at the skyship. Everybody does. Including people who probably want to eat the sky. I'm not kidding. Not eat, but like probably want to take the skyship to try and get out of there. Because notably, they don't come through a chaos hole. At least it doesn't seem like they do. It seems like they literally break through the white space wall that is the edge of Annwfyn, and then it just whoop, like they just pass through it. So I really do wonder what or how they got there. Presumably it's just the spells and they use the map, but still interesting. But with that being the case, we see that both Grandma and Grandpa are like, perhaps we stick out here. We will hide and wait for you. See ya, Grandpa, Grandpa. Best of luck, Gawain. All your friends, too. And then they skedaddle off. And we see Gawain says, okay, guys, ready to set foot on Annwfyn? And Donnie's like, huh? Hold on a second. Let me get a better vantage point. No, there's nothing here. like, he literally just says, yo, it's a big empty space. What do you mean? Set foot on here. There's nothing. And honestly, that may just be the worst prison. Because that's the thing. Annwfyn sounds like a world that's mostly blank canvas, with maybe the bare minimum for survivability. So I get why ultimately it would end up being considered a prison or a place to lock people up. Because you can't do anything. You're just stuck forever after. But with it being the case, we see that even Anne's like, this is Annwfyn? I've got to be tweaking. I expected way more. But we see that Percy notices something the others don't. And while Gawain teleports everybody to the ground, Percy, I'm not sure by free will or Gawain simply not including him, just doesn't teleport with him. Now, obviously, this could simply be Gawain being like, okay, these guys are pure humans. None of them can really fly except for Nausians. We have two pure humans and a fairy giant hybrid. Let me just grab them and just drop them. But, no, let me not just grab them and drop them. They may get hurt. Only Nausians can fly. But Percy not getting transported at all either means Gawain is still a little bit miffed and didn't try to transport him, or Percy just straight up said no to her form of teleportation. Meaning he has some sort of slight resistance to battlefield removal. That is huge. But with it being the case, we see that Donnie's like, dude! Get your high and muddy behind down here with the rabble, dog. What are you cooking? And we see Percy lands and says, you want to know what I'm cooking? You don't smell it? It's the rock. And he lands and smiles at a certain somebody. Whoa! Where you landing? Ooh! Good to see you again, old friend. Great to see you again. Tristan? You're probably still mad about back then, aren't you? And you know what? Part of me wants to chalk this up to just being Zaza, like straight up, I don't know, not very nice fella. But how brash and how casually he's like, oh yeah, you know when I abandoned you and your father's trust in me to go gallivant off in the spirit realm to get infinitely more gains, will you say the same booty butt fodder Nephilim that you've always been? Yeah, baby. Like, he says it with such a big smile on his face, and I'm like, dude, could you read the riddle a little? But with it being the case, we see that Chantress is looking on and is like, what? And everyone else runs up and is like, Tristan! It really is you! Wow, Percival spotted you in no time at all. Hey! Why'd you fall into no contact for so long? He was trapped in Annwfyn. He's right. He was trapped in Annwfyn. The king and queen were worried about you. They kind of weren't, and they were trapped in Annwfyn. But we see Gawain says, nice to see you. Are you doing well? And Percy's casually like, huh? I'm sorry. Stranger danger? Who are you people? Which is a valid question to ask. But you know what else is a valid question to ask? Tristan, buddy, pal, amigo. But I suppose I should direct my vitriol. No, I'm gonna ask it. Why does he still have the coffin of eternal darkness? We find out later the Shepherd's not a replica, it's not a fake, it's the real thing. Why give that to a man at a stoplight? Like, what are we What do you mean? Why does he still have those? Why does he still have them? I'm so confused. Like, the reason I'm so confused about it is because in the very beginning of the series, they were desperate to try and steal Mel and the Demon Clan away. They were shooting for it. We didn't even get fully introduced to our main cast before we got reintroduced to the Coven of Eternal Darkness. But now it's kind of just chilling. Like, Arthur and crew wouldn't really want that bad boy? That's crazy to me. Yeah, I just don't know. It seems so weird. It seems so weird that a group of people who are so focused on getting the Annwfyn at the beginning of the series finally have all complete access to the cauldron, or not the cauldron, the coffin in the cauldron, and access over the fortnight so they could easily execute, especially since he's life wiped and probably weaker than he should be, and he's both alive as well as Dragonel. It just makes no sense to me. I hope they at least address it. And Beltreeb just did not notice it for one reason or another, because we know Beltreeb is here. He's watching. He's listening. But with it being the case, we see everyone laughing off, and they're all like, oh, yeah, we got big, we got swall. Well, we didn't get swall. We got big, we got gays, we're them. Okay, I see why you wouldn't recognize us. Don't worry, broski, it's me. It's me, Big Donners. It's me, Big Nazi. It's me, Big Percy. But we see that, as Percy goes on to say, come on, Tristan, it's me. Remember me, Percival. I betrayed your daddy's trust. You look mad. Ain't that a shame, little bro, because you still couldn't do nothing to me. You can't do nothing to me right now. I'm still too small for it. But as we see Percy try and get Tristan to recognize him, Tristan says, I'll have you know, my name is Tantris. I certainly don't have a name as stupid sounding as Tristan. Now, this is funny on multiple levels. One, I don't know if he's saying the name is stupid because he notices that it's just his current name backwards. Like, literally, as Malcolm spells out with the bubble letters, Tantris is just Tristan backwards. And thusly, hearing Tristan is like hearing someone, instead of going that guy with a pencil, they'd go pencil A with guy, that. Like, it sounds weird regardless. Or if it's like straight up he thinks the name sounds stupid, or if it's some sort of pseudo-mental programming. No matter what, it's still interesting that he has such a vitriolic reaction to the name Tristan. But I'm leaning towards the idea that it is the true Tristan deep inside him, actually considering what we see towards the end of the chapter. It's the Tristan inside him being like, hey, let me out. like he's genuinely trying to break free and doing that the best way he can by having some sort of reaction to his name, which ultimately isn't enough to break free. And notably, we do see that Tristan's hair has gotten ever longer, looking just like his mama. And we see everyone else looks at him and like, huh? Tantris? Y'all heard that, right? He said Tantris? And of course, we see our cast and crew is a little bit bamboozled. And they immediately huddle up and are like, hey, what's this prince saying? How do we react to this? He's got a unique sense of humor, so... Oh, by the way, where can we find Isolde and Kion? Very specifically Kion. And also probably the real Isolde. And we see that ultimately Anna's like, oh yes, that's right, Isolde, the only one who ever understood your jokes. I genuinely do not remember Tristan joking that much, but I think I have some sort of memory of it. I can think of like 2 occasions all the time I had. Remind me of all the times Tristan made jokes, because I completely forget about this part of his character. But with it being the case, we see Tristan is bamboozled. He's shocked. Like, wait, you know Isolde? Who are you guys? And we see Percy explain, who are we? Who do you think? We're pals with you and Isolde. Kion too, don't forget. Poor Kion, dog. like especially the more and more I learn about Kion, poor Kion, dog. But we see that Tristan gets a little bit cruel with it. A little bit crazy with it, a little bit mean with it, as he says, pals with me and Isolde? Well, that's odd. Because I don't know any of you at all. And Isolde doesn't have any friends. None. She has no homies. I'm not even her homie. Her dad just pays him, but wait, she has no family either, so I'm just doing it. But no friends or family. So, interesting. Once again, it raises the question, is this a real Isolde? Is this the same Isolde, but altered by chaos magic, brainwashed, or having her memories wiped just like this Tristan? Or is it all fake? And this is all meant to contain Tristan and keep him nice and docile. Even though I ultimately would think getting rid of Tristan would be the better choice, maybe keeping him nice and docile is a better choice in Arthur's mind and Beltreeb's mind. Though I still can't see the vision. But ultimately, one detail I do want to keep pointing out, I swear Tristan's blade keeps Oh, no, actually it's pretty consistent. I think he just has Esterosa. Is it just Esterosa? It may just be Esterosa. I wonder what happened to my owl. It seems like the Mael blade was just completely replaced by Dragon Hail. So I don't know where that one is. But with that being the case, we see that everyone's bamboozled and confused as Tristan picks up his bag, and as Isolde says, "Wait, quicker with the jokes already." Tristan declares, or Tantris, my apologies for calling him Tristan, that stupid name, says, "I'm sorry, but I'm in a hurry. I don't know who you are, but if you're here to watch the Gladiator Festival, it's straight ahead. If you're joining in, that'll make us rivals, and I will spank you, even though I likely haven't used Demon Mark in like 2 years." But with it being the case, we see Tristan, or Tantris, walks off, saying, "Either way, I hope you find that Tristan fellow as dumb as his name sounds," which is crazy. But we see he strolls off. And notably, the whole cast and crew, but Donnie especially, is like, "Huh?" And everyone naturally asks, what? What's going on? What's the deal with this?" And we see that Donnie theorizes, he's not just like Tristan's long lost twin, right? Like, Mel and Elizabeth definitely had more kids, right? Like, we're not going to completely follow lore. And Nassim says, Angela's magic didn't react to him at all either, though. And Anne says, "Tantris? This guy who looks just like him and his name is backwards?" And we ultimately see Gawain and Percy, our two knights, be like, "Nope, that's definitely the man himself. The Coffin of Eternal Darkness sword on his back is the same one you gave him 2 years ago." Which, you didn't give! He left behind. Breaking trust. Breaking trust is very, very angry. But, yeah, Gawain recognizes the coffin, which at least, based on her speculation, makes me believe that is the real coffin piece that they just have and haven't used for some reason. And Percival doubles down when he says, "Yeah. Plus, one look at his soul and his magic, and I can spot him a mile away. That's Tristan," which is interesting. So, I think this is a unique effect of chaos magic, one that very specifically hard wipes the mind. Because I can't imagine Tristan doing this willingly and sticking around willingly, so I imagine this is some sort of effect of chaos, especially considering Anne's magic didn't go off at any of his statements, meaning what is his truth, what he fundamentally believes in his heart of hearts, is the truth in his eyes. AKA the lies he's been fed or made to repeat ultimately are true to him, meaning that he is fundamentally altered, meaning that chaos got some mind control juice in him, which is exciting, but concerning. Concerning for Lance. Lance, please don't tell me you got captured by Jericho. Please! But with it being the case, we see that as the mini Percys and Percy themselves recognize Tristan, they all begin to follow. And as they do, they say, there must be some kind of reason for this then. Is he under surveillance, maybe? We are in enemy territory. We can't discount any theory just yet. Well, let's just try following him for now. Something is up with those people. Yeah. The prince was heading for the festival too, so I do think it is legit just some sort of mind control, some sort of mind wipe, because the fact that Tristan's my head, is just gonna, why do I feel like I know these people? And why do they have that guy with such a stupid name? Why do my memories remind him of that? But ultimately, I do think it's just a fragile spell. And we know that, what am I saying? Is that certain, or am I confusing that with another series? But I think we do know that once you start to introduce contradictions or reintroduce memories to those under the influence of Chaos's mind control or subjugation, it starts to bring out the original personality, and the mind control needs to be reapplied. Very specifically, remember Chaos Gallant and Chaos Melascula. For at first, they were kind of just both vibing, being Chaos Gallant and Chaos Melascula, but towards the end of their fight, especially once Lance was reminded of Melascula specifically, and Gallant was accidentally triggered himself by fighting Gawain, their memories started to shift. And they were like, wait a minute, I'm not a servant of King Arthur. I serve the Demon King. What is going on? And then the Chaos Magic immediately kicked back in and was like, hey, listen. You work for Daddy Arthur now, and you're gonna like it. So I wonder if it's something similar with Tristan, where we may see our cast and crew start to dig up his true memories, but then ultimately Beltrep or Chaos itself is like, whoa, buddy, go to bed, and just immediately suppresses him again. Possibly making him enter Demon Mark, possibly making him tweak out, or just fully suppressing him. Who knows? But we see that while our cast and crew, Tristan included, is heading towards the Gladiator Festival, someone else isn't. Or someone else is already there, in fact. As a person asks, how's our roster of participants looking? Cabadoni. And we see Cabadoni says, I was about to give him the Patrick Warburton voice. Like, oh, look, Cusco. Cusco's poison. The poison for Cusco. We're seeing competent challengers gathering across the land, sir, as well as onlookers. The festival's a great way for Annwfyn residents to let off some steam, and also it's their only hope for escape. Those wishes will become another source of energy to build Camelot with. So, this is another thing I want to touch on. I feel so mixed, because it feels like some chapters, Chaos is getting gains, getting buffs, getting jacked up through the moon, like last chapter, I think it's last chapter or the previous chapter cover, where we got to see Gawain looking out the window to a full night sky, full of stars, and a moon. And while multi-solar Seven Deadly Sins has kind of been a thing for a while, because Nakama mentioned in an interview a while back, yeah, in some places in Camelot, there's large starry night skies. And unfortunately, for our universe to work, large starry night skies indicates at least multiple star systems. Maybe not entire galaxies. Maybe not entire galaxies, I'll give that. But like, at least entire star systems. And we know those didn't exist because Camelot is the multi-dimensional pocket realm. Meaning that technically, unless you believe that Chaos did create the universe, which I personally think is a misinterpretation, I very specifically think because they were born amongst the ancient stars, I think they made the planet that some of those things takes place on, Britannia and all that. Maybe Chaos is needing this wishing energy and stuff like that and pieces of the original land because it's too weak to maintain it, because it's being stretched so thin, right? Because Nakama says that about some random realm. Then we have last chapter showing Gawain's own separate realm, where she was at least chilling out for a bit, which has that starry night sky, and we know all the different realms are interconnected. So maybe the reason Chaos needs wishing power, and very specifically needs all these different pieces of the original land, is because they're anchor points, because Arthur himself and his ambitions is stretching Chaos's abilities too thin by creating all these different realms of star systems, or Chaos is just fodder, and can't create something as simple or as similar as their original creation. I don't know. Once again, Camelot is the only realm to seemingly have these issues, but at the same time, it's the only realm to be as multifaceted as it is. While the Supreme Deities realm, the Celestial realm, and the Demon King's realm, the Demon World, are both their own separate spaces. I wouldn't say time spaces, but their own separate spaces that run on the same time axis as the main world. Camelot seems fundamentally different than either of them. Because one, we have confirmation of starry night skies in both of them, and not just a singular star or moon, or two moons in the case of the Demon World, but whole multiple realms with their own star spaces. Meaning multi-solar Arthur, or multi-solar Chaos at a bare minimum. Where realistically, based on the fact that they was created recently, this is like arguably a multi-galaxy feat. Just because of how far away stars have to be for us to see them traditionally as stars. And Arthur's made multiple places like this. So maybe. But with it being the case, we see that all kinds of people are gathering. The only person who immediately stands out to me, I will humbly request y'all to see if y'all recognize any other individual, but the only person that kind of stands out to me, these kind of look like vampires. This guy kind of looks like Monspeed with a lighter beard. Those are the only two that I got. It kind of looks like Derriere, kind of, sort of. But still, we know Derriere's status, and we know the status is fine, so I don't think so. But still, a bunch of people are gathering around. And as Treep says, for it's those most willing to struggle their way to the top here that are actually worthy of joining our Chaos Knight ranks. Or you could say, the warriors who serve us in time. So, it looks like the Cauldron of Annwfyn is specifically an endless cycle. Meaning that you may get hurt in this Gladiator Festival, you may lose, you may take damage, but ultimately, you will have another chance to win. You can try again next year, and come back, and get stronger. So eventually you'll be worthy, and be useful to Camelot. So it does seem like an endless cycle. Once again, fitting into the more base idea of the Cauldron of Annwfyn and the Gladiator Festival that I had at first, where I thought they were just straight up fighting 24/7. I thought it was like basically Battle World. But with it being the case, we see Beltreep laugh. Well, let us enjoy this event then. Arms crossed, big cheese under that mask, as whatever his name was, says, "Absolutely, Lord Beltreep." And the chapter ends. Stop! Wait. A W chapter. Like I said, this chapter did end up raising a bunch of questions, but it answered the big one that Tantris is in fact biologically, spiritually, magically to all Tristan, but he doesn't have his memories. Or maybe he does, but they're suppressed. And Isolde doesn't get a confirmation whether or not she's still Isolde. Kaya doesn't get a confirmation on where he is. We don't get an answer on why Tristan is even still alive, or Tantris is a thing versus just being executed. We don't know why Arthur and his men haven't used the Call of Eternal Darkness, considering they could likely jump and rob Tristan at this point. There's so many questions up in the air now, and I'm excited to get them answered. So, if you're all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave belly button. I can only think because this guy literally has multiple belly buttons. But leave belly button in the comment section down below. I thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon below where you can check out the live reaction, the 23-minute live reaction to this very chapter. For as low as $1 a month, you become a member. For as low as $3 a month, they get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include, like I mentioned, the live reaction to this very chapter, and free variations of all my videos. And if you come into a $5 Patreon or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Sarah, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, Brandon Payne, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, Igneal Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big old thank you to our $7 members: Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, Zombie Hunter, and Austin Wimberly. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members: Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a big old thank you to our $10 patrons: Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami.
And I'd like to give the craziest, juiciest, most next-level, quadruple, sloppy, toppy, next-level, superhuman, in beyond this world, kidney heaven thank you to our $100 patron, or that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.